Sometimes you see the Martis every now and then, but you hardly ever see the Fredrin. Now we're in game number 2, at least the draft. MHRLK staying on that blue side at ALVA 8 on the red. One final chance for ALVA 8 to keep themselves in this tournament. They have not been able to overcome kind of the macro differences against GameLab and MHRLK.
Yep, blue side once again from MHRLK Esports. ALVA 8, 4 games in a row so far. On the red side first. Hopefully it's going to help out a little bit more because as we at MHRLK Esports, banning things off with the Kadita. Very, very similar bans once again. Just doesn't really want to see the Kadita at all. ALVA 8, are they going to look for the switch up? Because as of yet, they have been very, very traditional with their bans, but this time, they will respect CY's 1-1. Banned it off means there is going to be an opportunity for multiple heroes to actually slide on through. In this case, maybe the Joy, maybe even Fredrin once again is going to be up for grabs, but I don't think MHRLK gives a crap about that. But they are going to let through potentially a Valentina or maybe a Faramis this game.
I feel like this also raises a separate question, right? Was 1-1 the biggest issue in Game 1? I kind of don't think so. But ALVA 8 just want to go for the safe route, I suppose. Joy getting banned out, again, Faramis, Kaja, Yi, Valentina have been massive priorities in terms of picks and bans. And Valentina getting taken out once again by MHRLK. And now ALVA 8, you gotta pick a poison. The R-Lot has been something that they really love to pick. But it's also something that they're willing to give away, and that's what happened when they took on GameLab.
Yeah, man, as of yet, ALVA 8, final ban, put in a very awkward position once again. Do they give away the R-Lot this time? I think they should just completely sack the idea of like, you know what, they're not going to first pick R-Lot, just ban it off. And then pick something else, you know. We can actually open up the hero pool a little bit more. R-Lot didn't exactly work in their favor twice now in the upper bracket series and this game. I think they should actually go for the mix-up, prioritize something else. But no, they ban off the Faramis, doesn't really want to do with it. They are going to let the R-Lot through for MHRLK Esports. And there is going to be a little bit of a predicament once again. R-Lot, first pick is available for MHRLK Esports. Fanny is going to be also available. But Eve going to be picked up from ALVA 8. Wait a minute. Huh. Okay, now makes sense.
MHRLK with the Eve opening. ALVA 8 now you have decent options, right? Again, Fredrin, R-Lot, Kaja. The fact that there's an Eve on MHRLK's side kind of slightly diminishes the value of the Kaja. You can't really drag that Eve away anyways. And it also makes that Fredrin pick a bit iffy in these team fights. So ALVA 8 is giving Aaron Shiki the Claude.
Comfort.
This is a pick that I expected to see so much more from Aaron Shiki in today's matches, but funny enough, this is the first time the Claude was picked. It might be the first. It might be the last.
Yeah, finally, ALVA 8 going to be giving Aaron Shiki his comfort pickup. But they are going to be opening things up with the R-Lot as well as the Claw. So this is where things get a little bit more interesting because now they are in the comfort pickups. MHRLK has the option here. He needs to play something else, but they are doubling down with the Grok once again for XP lane here, for actually going for setups. Very, very annoying here. It is going to use to be denying the Farsa once again. They kind of want ALVA 8 to play it again. They're pretty much having a solution. I was about to bring out the Beatrix as well for that wombo combo strategy, and it seems like MHRLK this time is going to go for the poke strategy a little bit better compared to what ALVA 8 is going to be thinking of the table. So as you can see, discussions has been made from the side of MHRLK, and they're pretty happy about this trade-off. Let them pick the Farsa. It's okay. Just take it. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
and Farsa has never been a concern for MHRLK. And remember, we still have the jungler that hasn't been reviewed on both sides, and MHRLK can easily pivot towards the Lancelot if they want to. That has been a big threat to deal with the Farsa pick from ALVA 8, and they will stick with the Farsa for Eliora once more.
Well, seems like they are going to get it for themselves. Euphoria needs to try and sync up a little bit more with Vinsmoke. We haven't seen Vinsmoke playing the Kaja this time. He might be banned off this game, but MHRLK Esports, they might double down on the Lancelot again, but no. ALVA 8 says, you're not getting it. You're not getting the tank slot once again. I'm sorry, Kelvin. You're just extremely annoying with that game. But at the same time, Fredrin once again completely ignored from both sides. That's 1 point. 2, Fanny also completely ignored as well. So it might be a little bit of a surprise factor because if you think about it, Fanny on ALVA 8 means MHRLK Esports has a way to deal with it with the wall charge. but Fanny on MHRLK Esports, ALVA 8 as of yet has no solutions whatsoever. So MHRLK Esports has pretty much shown their hand that they have banned the Kufra before, indicating that there might be a possibility, but that didn't exactly happen because they pretty much doubled down for the land slot, right? So this time, ALVA 8 might be baited into this, knowing that MHRLK might bring in the Fanny this time.
Yeah, it's either if they don't ban the Fanny, then the only choice that they have in that roaming role, probably you are going to be looking at a roaming Kaja, a jungle Akai, something along the lines, or the Fredrin once more. The fact that Martis was banned out is a big indicator, and ALVA 8 themselves bans out the Kaja. MHRLK, they are going to feel so much more comfortable if they decide to go for the Fanny, if they have a chance to go for the Fanny, the Kufra ban to wrap up that ban phase, and now ALVA 8 have a very, very important choice to make.
Oh no, MHRLK, they are going to be sticking to their Game 1's draft once again. They are potentially going to take the Ruby away, and ALVA 8, they have to sense this. They know for a fact that they want to play the Ruby again to try and annoy if the ALVA 8 decides to go for the Fredrin pickup. So they're not really afraid about this. Fanny against the Fredrin is really, really strong against them, and ALVA 8, they don't go for it, but they are going to double down for the Lolita instead. So you hate to see it. It was all a setup.
We saw this coming from a mile away.
No!
From the bans itself, the fact that ALVA 8 banned on the Kaja is basically giving that Fanny on a silver platter for MHRLK.
Oh, you hate to see moments like this. It was a perfect setup for the Fanny, and ALVA 8 thinking that it wasn't gonna happen. I like how MHRLK was hiding this Kufra ban in game number 1. And ALVA 8 thought, there's no way they're bringing in the Fanny, right? But little did they know they already brought in the land slot. And this time, with Fanny getting pulled in, and the only other hero that can pretty much stop a Fanny is pretty much either... Actually, there are still a lot here. Cho, Paquito, Akai to a certain degree. But this pretty much puts ALVA 8 in a situation where, you know what? You're not getting a Fredrin. You're forced to play the Akai jungle. Pretty much the only other thing left to kind of deal with this Fanny, I guess ALVA 8 has no other choice but to go for the Akai. But if they go for the Fredrin, there's no one that can actually stop this Fanny.
Even with Akai, he's not exactly the most effective one overall, right? There's so many things that he needs to accomplish in this fight, in this game itself. Honestly, I feel like this Fanny pick was basically handed to them, right? We saw that Kaja ban, and it's by courtesy of ALVA 8. They put so much emphasis in getting XDN's hero to be the last pick. But I don't think it's going to matter too much at this point. We just have to see what ALVA 8 settles for. I think the Akai probably is the best course. They can still stick with the Fredrin. Big problem for ALVA 8 in this game too.
Oh, hopefully, and I mean really hopefully ALVA 8, they are going to be able to find a way to deal with this Fanny so far. Like yesterday we've seen games where Fanny didn't exactly have the highest win rate. But based on this composition, if ALVA 8 is able to just completely dodge Fanny all the way through, they're going to be able to win the later stage of the game. But can they buy enough time to that stage? It's going to be a big problem. Meanwhile, from the side of MHRLK Esports, it's going to be them completely looking to snowball this game to try and close this game as quickly as they can. A difference of approach in this playstyle. But it all comes down to execution. ALVA 8 on their tournament live drafts right now, going to be forced to play against this Fanny in this composition.
I mean, MHRLK just feeling so much confidence. One last game for MHRLK, and top 4 will be theirs. Game number 2, MHRLK Esports against ALVA 8. And honestly speaking, Terrence, MHRLK just looked so much better. And you know, we went through kind of the scenarios, what ALVA 8 has to deal with, especially when there's a Fanny on the side of MHRLK. But overall, if we get to that late game, I still think that MHRLK has the better edge over ALVA 8.
Well, all things considered, they are playing this a little bit safe for now, but we do see a little bit of harassment on towards the Fanny, still farming his way through down the bottom. We do hear the effects coming in, but as of yet, ALVA 8 looking for the kick. Anna Yex playing a little bit slow. They're harassing the gold team this time, and Vinsmoke taking a little bit too much damage. And within the right angle, Kelvin is going to be able to punish ball, but Vinsmoke playing a little bit dangerously, going to be recalling back in front. We do see interceptions coming in, but nope. That is going to be a little bit skirmish here. Daizo's stats is going to be up on screen. But bottom lane, we do see the fights coming in.
Oh,
Zion
no.
going to be the caught in the midst of the commotion. And Kelvin waited for a little bit longer. But he gets the kill on Zion. And this is where things are going to get a little bit tough here for the Brethren.
This is really bad news. Fanny getting an XP advantage, able to get the early recall and continue clearing the jungle. This X10 being put behind is horrible, considering that the turtle is going to be up. He will hit the level 4 right now, but Jirachi almost walks into an ambush. CJ is going to be around. He will have his ultimate off of that passive XP. And Calvin, when he gets that gold crab, it's going to be that turtle contest. And I'm not sure if ALVA can even contest this.
Yeah, this is a little bit difficult here, but at the same time, MHRLK, they're having full control. Jirachi's coming for the setup as well, but I don't think they can actually do too much. It's all about the waiting game. Jirachi showing some dominance in the bottom the river, but at the same time, the biggest threat here is going to be Turtle. And ALVA, they missed the 30-second window. That means Kelvin already got his purple buff, and this is going to be a problem for them.
They keep baiting Jirachi in. Kelvin, he's just gonna get it, gets taunted by the Brethren, real world manipulation now used. The counter feather airstrike is there, but no kills coming out yet for ALVA. CJ barely walking out. Jirachi not that. Jirachi able to dash towards the backline, getting the choke. AES goes down. CJ still alive, able to keep himself away. And while that was happening, Kelvin already working on the turtle. Jirachi will be around, but XGen not able to get in range to contest this. This turtle most likely going over to Kelvin. Vinsmoke will try, but try as he may, he will not do it.
Nicely done coming in from MHRLK Esports here. ALVA 8, a little bit unfortunate when it came to that skirmish. Discontinue it, but you can see Jirachi having a little bit more comfort with this Arlot, but at the same time, Zion just not having the time of his life so far. Every single time he opens up the map, MHRLK is there to focus fire and take him down. That's going to be a problem because eventually he needs to follow up with the rest of his team. And currently, MHRLK, this is not giving to him here. Kelvin showing dominance on the top side. He's going to be invading the jungles of ALVA 8. And do they actually help him out? Because as of now, we do see an ambush coming in the top side. And Zion is going to potentially fight, but Kelvin dodges his way through. All right.
Again, Frederick, not the best candidate to catch a Fanny. Overall, Kelvin is still ahead in the XP, I believe. Accent really trying to go for the invade, but with CJ around, it's not going to be an easy target to take down. Jirachi jumping onto him. They want this purple buff. They want to get it away from this Fanny, but with Daizo around, real manipulation, the counter feather airstrike, trying to get rid of CJ. They will finally take him out, thanks to Jirachi. And then NIX late to the party, ALVA 8 walks away with the kill.
Oh, still very, very scary attempt coming from ALVA 8. They got a very nice pick off onto Grog, but at the same time, pay attention to the items here coming in from Zion. He's so far away from his next itemization as well, but at the same time, top side, great final slash from Jirachi! Turns the tide, slows down the tempo of Kelvin, and this is the saving grace that they need. They need to slow down the snowball coming in to buy time. And hopefully with this, Zion's going to be able to get the economy that he needs to actually tank through the burst for MHRLK. Because as of yet, Zion is just so far off from his next item.
And MHRLK needs to understand that this is a tank Arlot. He is 3-0 with a flicker in hand and the tenacity. You are not going to be able to burst him, even if you are the Fanny. Like you mentioned, the fact that the Fanny went down is very good news. XN now catching up in terms of experience. The Numenon Blast by Vinsmoke not connecting onto CY, but it did force the flicker out of him though. Jirachi once more showing at the Turtle Pit. ALVA 8 finally bringing that game back to an even state.
Oh boy, ALVA 8 now finally getting a little bit of momentum here. They're not afraid of Fanny. Kelvin doesn't have the purple buff that he needs, but Zion is going to be there to provide the business. They're calling all hands on deck for MHRLK Esports, whereas ALVA 8, they're not prepared for this as well, but pay attention to this. Vinsmoke, he doesn't have the Numenon Blast. A little bit of a misplace, but ALVA 8 not prepared for this. That's going to be an easy turtle for MHRLK. Meanwhile, the trades coming in. ALVA 8 takes a tier 1 down bottom.
Way better start for ALVA 8, getting a bit more space for themselves. CJ not bullying Jirachi like he did in game number 1. And the fact that this Frederick is getting close to catching up with the Fanny is very good news. But MHRLK is still able to clear those ways very swiftly. And at the end of the day, it's not easy to catch this Fanny. Help me just needs to remember, you cannot dive this Arlot.
This is a little bit of a patient games coming in, but ALVA 8, they finally hold on. But here comes the final slash. They force the the wall charge coming in, but at the same time, can he kill him? Jirachi, no, he cannot. He just doesn't have the damage. Jirachi is finally gotten to the stage where he's just so tanky. In this case, ALVA 8, they've got triple Dreadnought armors up on their players for Frederick Arlott as well as the Lolita. That means this Fanny's power spike is going to start to diminish at this stage of the game.
And ALVA 8 even has 2 Purifies on both their cores. The MHRLK will find it a bit harder to catch the Claude and the Farsa. Turtle spawning very soon down bot, but I don't think MHRLK might have time to catch it. CY just getting the Malefic Roll. He's just hitting his timing so early on the goal laners that he plays. And MHRLK is sticking together, all 5 men.
Yep, NIX as of yet hasn't been seen to set up all those Way of the Dragons kicks yet. MHRLK gonna be in a little bit of awkward position. Zion looking for the taunt. NIX will be dodging their way through. But Jirachi upgrading into the Antique Q Ras first. That means he is gonna be even more attack power reduction for Kelvin. But the rest of the teams, they are slowly skirmishing their way through. But eventually, Kelvin will not have the damage to actually push through this triple tank composition. And the Beatrix, I don't think it's going to be enough as sustain as well, as Aaron Shiki will be able to farm his way through on the top side.
And MHRLK actually, losing out on the side lane. ALVA 8 constantly pushing that top and bottom in. And Jirachi not the easiest to burst down. Turtle has spawned. Kelvin, he is going to show up. Able to get away in time. Jirachi swiping Kelvin to the side. The wall charge just a bit too late. ALVA 8 finding a crucial catch on this Fanny.
Oh, finally, ALVA 8 finds the moment that they needed as well. Both Jirachi and also Zion pulling it out big, and MHRLK doesn't seem to be able to do too much about this situation. They dropped the blunder, and just like that, Amashiki already in position to fight this as well. CJ looking for that wall charge wombo combo, but with no jungler intact, this Lord is going to be a lost cause. And they're not even going to try for this as well. So ALVA 8 keeping the tournament's life at stake alive for now momentarily.
And you can see the damage from this Arlott. He is single-handedly dealing with Kelvin. And finally, this Fanny, I can say effectively shut down by ALVA 8. Mid-tier 1 taken also. And ALVA 8 is showing a bit more presence in the MHRLK jungle.
Oh my goodness. MHRLK now playing a very slow game. ALVA 8, they need to put on a little bit more pressure, but based on these items here as well, we do see Dominance Ice Purchase is going to be up very soon. Eventually, Kelvin not going to be able to do too much here. They've got 2 debuffers coming from MHRLK Esports. One from the Fanny, one from CJ. That's going to be armor reduction all the way through, but they need to find a way to set up for this Beatrix. And so far, CY hasn't had that opportunity to go for those free auto attacks just because of how the wombo combos coming from ALVA 8 is a little bit too devastating. And this poking strategy coming from MHRLK is not working out at all. And ALVA 8 just can't really do too much about the situation.
Yeah, we haven't really seen NIS catching anyone also. And that is going to slowly be a problem that MHRLK needs to deal with. You want to be able to isolate these targets from ALVA 8. They will take care of the Lord, both top and mid lane taken care of as well, and Kelvin shoving up that bot side. So at the end of the day, MHRLK able to minimize the damage to their base.
Oh my goodness, Kelvin is trying his best, but eventually he's going to get caught up. But here comes the cancel. Zion, he's going to catch him all the way through, but Jirachi in no position to interject with the final slash, so he's going to be able to get away. But it does split off the rest of the teams. We got a bottom side. They want to try and force a fight, but they don't really know where the Frederick or the Arlott is. As MHRLK, they're still hesitating if they want to try and force the issue. But Aaron Shiki dropping a little bit low. The wall touch with some nature clutch from Aaron Shiki. He actually survives and gets out.
Even uses the Purify just to make sure that he doesn't get crowd control. NIS did use his flicker just now. Now use a Conceal. Shunfall over the wall. Jinkundo is there. Vinsmoke following up with the stun. Very durable on the show. Kicks Vinsmoke away. The Appraiser's Wrath not doing enough damage, and the taunt unfortunately not in range. Meanwhile, Jirachi was able to harass Kelvin and get out of that. ALVA 8 doing a fantastic job. In fact, 2,000 goal advantage.
Oh my goodness, Aaron Shiki with the fast fingers. They knew that was going to happen. But at the same time, here comes the Fanny. But ALVA 8, they're at a stage where this Fanny is no longer relevant. It all comes down to whether or not CY is going to be able to tally for the team. Because as of yet, MHRLK They need to find damage for this Beatrix. They need to fight the Swambo combo. And the only way they win that is if ALVA 8 completely groups up in the 5 and allows CY to completely shut them down. But based on the positions of ALVA 8, that seems to be a little bit difficult to do so. But as of yet, they're all split up. They're looking for the Lord push. And MHRLK, they have no choice but to commit for this fight. They are grouping up as 5, and Calvin hasn't shown himself yet. They have Jirachi blocking the pathway, but the Lord will be resetted from ALVA 8.
Unlucky. ALVA 8 going for the pounce. NIX is the target. They try to save it. Good wall charge, and now Calvin goes in. The Luminal Blast actually not connecting. NIX almost arriving, but Erishiki straight to the back line with the Blazing Duet. That is why you put this man on the quad. Eliora also showing up, getting those kills with that feather airstrike. CJ, 4th to go. ALVA 8 have found life in this game.
Oh, very, very smart setups coming from ALVA 8. MHRLK, they thought they could get out, but the Numenor Bless Up setup from Vince Smoke at the backline to cut off that entry point was beautiful. Nevertheless, as MHRLK could not do anything, and ALVA 8 just coming back on top of this game, bouncing back, fighting for the tournament lives, and this is exactly the ALVA 8 we're looking forward to. But Tosai, they get the kill on towards Calvin.
And this Fanny now is completely irrelevant in the game. MHRLK, what do you have left? CY needs to be the breadwinner right now. Still doing considerable amount of damage on this Beatrix, but to set it up is not going to be as straightforward as MHRLK thinks it is. And NIX couldn't find any opening in. Again, no catch with that Way of the Dragon. In fact, he was the one getting bursted down by ALVA 8.
Oh boy, so far in IX, you know, it's so hard for him to actually set up for those kind of kicks. Right? I was expecting a little bit more Way of the Dragon setups coming from MHRLK, but ALVA 8 just completely, you know, dodging their way through here, you know, dancing around the pams, is just making sure that that does not happen. Because every single time NIX tries to make a play, they need to either go in for the Fanny or go in for a couple fights. But Daiso now could be forced to use the Revolution, and Lord crashing in. They have to collapse onto this.
And the airstrike forcing Daiso back. NIX once more looking for an opening. Kelvin straight to the back line, tries to go for a one-shot. Almost assassinates Eliora, but didn't do enough. Lord's gonna start crashing in. MHRLK will be able to clear that out very quickly. NIX once more not getting an entry. Kelvin also trying to draw attention away. At the end of it, ALVA 8 only getting that mid inhibitor. All things considered, MHRLK was able to minimize the damage, and Kelvin also taking care of that bot wave.
Oh no, they know!
Going
They
for
got
the snipe. Kelvin!
Oh no.
2 of it. Can you get a counter kill? Or at least get out. Jirachi dashing onto him, but Kelvin have enough iron cables.
He doesn't have the energy. He doesn't have the
coming
purple
in,
buff.
able to knock him up, intercepting this Fanny.
Oh, beautiful game sense coming from Euphoria. What a catch. But they do get off Aaron Shiki on the sides as well for this Beatrix. So this is going to buy a little bit more time as they try to split off the fight. Here comes the kick. He's not going to connect. He's going to get taunted by Xion once again. And finally, the Way of the Dragon Flicker catches Jirachi. They won't be able to turn the tides, and ALVA 8, they're scrambling, but they do have one of the tankiest heroes in the front lines, and MHRLK, they barely hang on, but they were able to hold out for now.
Top inhibitor also goes down. ALVA 8 doing just chipping away at MHRLK Esports, brick by brick. Less than 40 seconds until the 3rd Lord of this game. MHRLK have found some remedy to deal with ALVA 8, but you need these individual heroics. You need NIX to be the one that get these pickoffs. You need CY to snipe Aaron Shiki once more from 10 miles away, and it's not easy to accomplish.
Yeah, definitely going to be a very difficult task. In this case, Kelvin needs to try and split off both the Arlott as well as the Fredrin in order to make a little bit of a crack on the defense for MHRLK to punish the back lines, because as soon as I say this, they do get the catch. They are going to punish Windsmoke right from the get-go. That's a little bit more room for the side of MHRLK Esports, and that's exactly what they intend to do. They finally found the sauce to actually fight this, but ALVA 8 still grouping up as 4. They are still relatively strong, and Aaron Shiki looking pretty solid as well. The snipes are coming in. Aaron Shiki forced to back out, but Euphoria getting sniped from afar. CY still keeping his distance from afar. He's a little bit too far off to regroup with his team, whereas MHRLK trying to dance around the Lord Pit, but ALVA 8 not committing yet. They're waiting up for Winspool to connect, but they lose NIX in this place. And here comes Jirachi with the play, but the counter won't touch from MHRLK. Turns the tide, kills off Zion. That's going to be the first immortality, but he's dropped down so low. He needs to back up, and Arashiki, he's holding on with his dear life with the Blazing Duet, and he is going to be able to survive. He needs to run, but here comes Kelvin. But he's not going to go for introduction, but no, the Grok. But Arashiki, he dodges it. He sets up the play for Euphoria to kill CJ. What an outplay coming from both sides, and ALVA still hangs on at the balance.
Both teams showing this individual prowess. All these plays, this is what we wanted to see. MHRLK, you need players like NIX to get these great plays. You need CY to get the snipe, and ALVA not willing to be outdone. MHRLK now on the back foot without CJ for 18 seconds. Lord down to less than half health. Vinsmoke staying in front. They have the conceal play. NIS, can you find the opening? Lord is dropping low. Kelvin is on the side, but they cannot find an entry in. Maybe CY can get a snipe. This is a very tense moment. They won't have time to wait for CJ to come right back, and with Jirachi putting his body in front, they need some way to get through Jirachi. A lot of damage on this Aura. Jirachi going down, but the Lord getting secure. Eliura pushing MHRLK back. ALVA getting the objective for themselves.
Oh, nice attempt coming in from MHRLK Esports. They got the kill onto his Jirachi, but it was pretty much zoned out as well. Too much damage, and MHRLK wasn't expecting ALVA to take a decisive battle onto his Lord Pit right here, right now. And this is actually going to buy a little bit more time for ALVA, but at the same time, here comes the kick. They force a fight. They go in for the catch, and they got the kill on Arashiki. Zion as well is going to fall, and ALVA, they may have won the Lord, but the surprise catch from MHRLK is going to save their tournament lives a little bit more. But Winsmoke now tries to make a run for it as well, but there's only so much this Lolita can do. And Loria, he's stuck in IX. Looking for the kick once again. They really want to get more kills out of this. The snipes coming from CY. Starting to pay off from the side of MHRLK Esports.
I feel like we've seen this before, Terrence. MHRLK making a comeback. They did it yesterday, and it was against an even bigger deficit. NIX once more. Look what Jirachi. Eliura with better airstrike. Can you get the snipes? Yes! Set up by Jirachi. They get rid of Daiso and CJ, and ALVA still alive. CY, the most important target, but they cannot get to him.
That's the most beautiful setup I've seen coming for ALVA, right? Numenon Blast coming in, and we've got the complete broom from Jirachi sweeping them with the final stash in towards the Numenon Blast to actually go for the setup. So there was a little bit misplaced coming from MHRLK Esports, so it's not going to be over yet. It looks like a comeback by ALVA. They have the aggression, and they're calling all teams here to actually go for the defense. And CY almost losing his life, but the Crystal will be focused down, and Numenon Blast will stop them in his track, and ALVA will try to drag this out, but no, he's not dead, but the Blazing Duet will be enough to finish him off, and they try to close this out, and they will tie the series in the lower brackets.
Finally, some signs of life for ALVA. Not done just yet for the night, but it was as close as it can get. Very good management in stopping this Fanny from snowballing, and MHRLK just misplaying some of these moments. The overzealousness from this Fanny. They thought they had the lead. They overestimated themselves, and ALVA punished every single